Hey y'all, I'm sorry my phone died and I had to recharge it. But I just want to, I know most of you, you know I'm going through a lot. And I'm trying to, this whole thing is even more devastating than even you know, and that's why I'm so upset about it. So, I really feel I need to put this out there so you understand why this is so upsetting to me. I have a beautiful house. Most of you compliment, like, oh my God, I wish I could live in a place that looked like that. You really don't know, like, the half of it, of what this house truly is, okay? And so I need to explain it because right now, you might as well put a bullet in my head because my life is over. For me, that's what it feels like. Not that I'm going to kill myself, but as you know, I have this extensive, Reba collection of just, and it's a pretty fantastic, Reba collection just on, stuff that Reba sold and, I bought. But, this is much more than that. And I don't share this because, yeah, it's not something you share, but pretty much now that it's rendered useless, I guess I can tell you people what this is. Most of you know that, at the age of 16, I lost my little sister, Kelly. And she was everything to me. And I took out my teeth. Don't read me. You all know I'm fucking old, okay? But this has been literally since a week after my sister died is when this collection started. And it's very, very, it's everything to me. And which is why I'm so upset, and I was trying to tell you people what I'm going through without, because there's certain things you just don't put out there, okay? But I guess I have to do it now because pretty much my life, everything about my life is now worthless to me, okay? But, so anyway, as you know, my little sister was everything to me. The part you don't know. And I have to kind of show this to you if you haven't, if you don't know the story, and some of you do, very few of you do. Like I said, my dad blamed me for pretty much murdering my sister because she died while I was babysitting. And about a week after she died, my dad accusing me of killing my sister. I planned to kill myself. And I was sitting in my bedroom. I had the radio going and stuff like that. And, I was getting ready to kill myself. And the most amazing thing happened that stopped me from doing that. And this is why I have... So anyway, as most of you know, this is Reba, okay? And so I'm in my room and I'm going to was planning on killing myself and all that. And so I'm sitting on my bed, and I'm, sitting there holding the knife, the whole 9 yards, and just about the time I built up enough courage to, slit my wrist and stuff, this song comes on the radio, and the name of it was Your love lifts me to heaven. Okay? And it had such an impact on me. Like, I mean, it hit me so hard, just the meaning of the song. I mean, the words of the song. And it literally stopped me from killing myself. That song was Reba McEntire's very first top 10 hit song. And it saved my life. But that's not even the best part of the fucking story. And to this day, this is why everything about Reba is, you can't touch my collection. It's more than just a collection and everything. But as you know, this is Reba. Okay? Now, I want you to look. I mean, I'm sorry for the glare, but that's Reba. Now, and this is my sister. The same chin, the same eye stigmatism, the nose, the red curly hair, all that. This woman's song that saved my life looks exactly like my little sister. So, I mean, what are the chances of that happening? So, when I went to Sears the next morning to buy the record, because it's literally saved my life, and the woman hands me the album cover, and that's what's looking back at me, okay? It was beyond any words I could ever express, okay? But it was like my sister was given back to me. So I've always had a thing for Reba. But as for this collection that I have, this collection is much more than just one of 500 bags made. It is more than just, the very first printed CD. It's more than just the only I commissioned this egg, this guy's egg show in museums. I commissioned this egg. There will never be another one made like it. He carves these out of goose eggs, and he is world renowned for doing this. And so these are in, museums and stuff like that. And these are all protected, stuff like that. That's the only one that will ever exist. There's just this Barbie up here when Mattel announced that they were doing this Barbie. This is not just any Barbie bought at Kmart or Toys R Us or anything like that. This doll, the day they announced that Mattel was going to do a Reba doll, a licensed Reba doll, I called Mattel. As soon as they made that announcement, I was listening to that announcement, and I called Mattel, and I said, I know this doll has not been created yet. I know it hasn't been produced yet, or anything like that. I said, but I want to buy that doll right now. I want to pay for a doll. And I said, I don't care what it costs. I know you, and she said, well, we haven't even set a price. I said, you know what you're going to be selling it for. I will pay you 10 times that amount of money, but I want the first one off the conveyor belt. The very first one you make. This is the first one they made. It's not perfect. It had its flaws. They had to go back but this is the first one. And I have the certificate of authenticity to prove it. All this has certificates of authenticity. These aren't just any fucking piece of Reba fucking memorabilia. This is all one of a kind. Things that were prizes for contests that, only one was made for the winner. All that stuff. These alone. These are when she opened Reba's Roadhouse, which is this home where people, like sick kids go to, and so families are able to stay together, and they go to and it's called Reba's Roadhouse, and it's kind of like, how Danny Thomas, and he did the St. Jude's, and nobody ever gets turned away, and nobody pays. Well, Reba's Roadhouse is kind of that same thing. And so, of course, they opened it on Memorial Week. Well, what they said was a Memorial Weekend. I think it was Memorial Day, but for the opening of this, so for the memorial opening of this, she had done several pieces for auction that were one of a kind, made for this event. And it was, put up for auction. Best bid takes some of these one-of-a-kind items. Well, this was a coaster set she did for that. This is the only set that exists. As you can see, it's got Reba etched into it with the memorial and the date and all that stuff. This was to commemorate the opening of Reba's Roadhouse. I own them. These are one-of-a-kind things, and I have all the letters of authenticity and all that are like in any picture that I got that she gave for an auction, all that. If you open the back of the frame, the certificates of authenticity, all that stuff is in there. So this is not just me talking out my ass. These are fucking items that are one of a kind, and my collection of Reba stuff is known worldwide as the largest signed collection known to exist. And it was valued the last time I had it appraised at over $1 million. So that's why this is devastating. This is much more than just any collection. I mean, I've starved for pieces. I mean, for example, right here in this cabinet here, this is a plate done by a very famous artist. There is no other that exists. That is the only one. That is the microphone she sang with at the Puyallup Fair. And I handed her roses. I was sitting in front row. And when the concert was over, her stage manager came out to the audience and handed me that microphone that Reba McEntire autographed, full signature. That there is worth so much fucking money. That's what all this is. This isn't just any collection. And pretty much it's now worthless. And this was stuff, I mean, I just ordered, some of you will know that yesterday they put out that Reba Pops, that little doll thing. I get anything Reba related that gets sold that is licensed and stuff like that. I get the minute that it gets posted or the minute it gets announced, it shows up on my desktop, on my computer. Okay, so yesterday, which shocked many good friends of mine, yesterday morning I was up and it was very early and I get this notification that, oh, sorry, my hand's up for fuck, sorry, I dropped it. But I get notifications when that announcement is being made, and I literally, it's there, I'm watching them announce or making the announcement, this doll has not been produced yet. They just signed the licensing for it, did the actual drawings, all that for it. None of them have been made yet, which is why this is a pre-order. Well, of course, chances are nobody else was seeing it when I saw it. And I already had the order form filled out. And then I called them. And I told them, I know I'm ordering this first. And I gave them a link to a video of my collection, what this collection is. And I told them, I said, I don't care. I said, I've already paid for the doll. I said, because this is a pre-order, I said, but I want the first one. I said, I already paid for it, but I'm also willing to pay whatever premium so I get the very first one that comes off that fucking conveyor belt. This is how serious this collection is and what I've done to make sure I have the best pieces. These are the first book that came off the print for CD. This is much more than just any collection, but that's not something you put out there because these are pieces that are worth so much more than anything that she sold in a store. And that's why I'm upset about it. But, this has been, literally, since I was 16 years old, some of the stuff I bought, but then when I started making some money, and I had good jobs and stuff like that, and I don't go to a Reba concert unless I'm in the first 3 rows. I pay absorbent amounts of money to get my tickets and stuff like that. I have sat in more times I've sat in front row, dead center, than probably anybody has ever sat in front row for any concert. And it's always a Reba one. Like the year she opened with The Plane. I went to 6 different cities, sat in front row every single time, dead center, where the diamond is, and her stage is in the round. I caught her hat that she threw out during, Is There Life Out There? And Reba threw hers right to me. So, I gave that to Bolivia, and you can ask her about it. It's not made like a normal cap, and this is very lightweight, so this is not something that, somebody got, for graduating high school. This was a custom-made thing for a stage, and so it's very apparent what it was, even though it's not signed, but it was, and I was sitting in front row, and it was thrown right to me. From Reba. So, this is what my collection is. And the sad part is, what you don't know, when I lived in Florida, most of you know, my brother stole everything. Well, what he stole from me was, I had actual costumes that Reba wore on stage that I bought, that she donated to auctions, that cost me literally thousands and thousands of dollars. All of it had letters of authenticity, just like this stuff. I have photos, like the one of her in her iconic red dress, the one that she wore for the ACMs, in what was it, 1994, when she did Does He Love You with Linda Davis. Okay, well, it's a mass-produced piece, a picture that's everywhere. But I have this one that I got from an auction that was raising money. I think it was for Easter seals. So this is a picture that Reba McEntire signed to earn money. The distinction on this picture is, even though there are other signed copies of this picture is different. And it has the letter of authenticity, which I will show you. this was the one that she donated to Easter Seals. And this one it's the only one of this iconic red dress that has a full signature. Most of them, just if they're autographed, it says Reba. No other has the full signature. Now, because I know some of you think I'm talking out my ass. Okay. First of all, I gotta undo the back of the photo. Okay, the back of the frame. And I don't have the world's best hands anymore, and these little prongs are a bitch to get out. But just so you know that I do not talk out my ass, I do not lie, I do not need to stretch the fucking truth, or none of that bullshit, okay? But there is the letter of authenticity, right there. I do not talk out my ass. This is a collection that is much more than any other fucking collection. And that's what's so devastating about it, because this collection is known worldwide for being the best, the biggest, the most signed collection that's known to exist. And that's why this is so devastating to me. It's something that you don't put out there because I can't afford to insure it for what it's worth. I have it insured for literally 1/4 what it's worth, but you never lose every piece. Well, but now my piece, because it's mold damage, every piece is ruined. So it's worthless. And so what was worth well over $1 million is now garbage. And that's why I'm upset. And my love for Reba is because this woman saved my life. But the fact that she looks... my sister's picture could be Reba's actual baby picture. That's how much... I mean, it's mind-blowing. And when I tell the story, people are like... Because I get teared up by it, because I'm still amazed that it happened. But that adds to the value of this. On top of this being a bunch of, one-of-a-kind things. This doll right here, the only one that will ever exist. Okay? Made by Dan Barry Mint. Okay? But it's the only one they made. And the fact that I own it, nobody else will ever have that doll. Because it was offered to me. It was part of a prize package. All that stuff for something I did to promote her album. So this is one-of-a-kind shit we're talking about. I mean, you don't even know. Over here, I have the actual, when Reba did, I don't think I can reach it. So I might have to put you down. But when Reba did Annie Get Your Gun, I was all on top of that. Well, so I couldn't go there, but to see it opening night. But a very good friend of mine went. And I made them take flowers for her and all that stuff. They had very good seats and all that stuff. They gave her the flowers. And, of course, there was a card from me, all that stuff. And my friend had a backstage pass to meet her behind stage. And they walked out and took the lobby card off the easel that sat in the lobby. And Reba signed it, and the male lead signed it. And this was given to me. This is the actual lobby card from the theater where the play took place. And I have it, the actual lobby card from that theater, signed by her and the male lead. But also on this is something that not just anybody ends up with. Reba is now in the Country Music Hall of Fame. And you don't just get to go witness her being inducted into the Hall of Fame. You pay a lot of money for that kind of privilege. And, everyday people like you or I don't end up with that kind of shit. But, because I am known by everybody. I've been in touch since day one of people in that work at Starstruck Productions, Reba's personal assistants. Reba's known who I am for a very long time without meeting me until I got to take that picture. But Reba knew who I was long before I ever met her. Because I was at every concert, sitting in front row, taking the flowers, everything else. But what's amazing, because this is how I am respected in that whole realm, you people do not know. I actually had the fucking invitation, the program, the dinner menu for... I was invited to her induction of the Country Music Hall of Fame. That's not just something they give to anybody. And I have it. That's what this collection is. I have scripts. She sent me a script from her TV show. And, I told her my story about my sister and all that. And the next thing I got, I went to my mailbox one day after, I gave her my little story about how she saved my life. Okay? What's up with the light? Alexa, turn on bedroom. See, I start getting, confused. I'm having problems breathing. But I need to do this because I'm literally coming after them for a whole hell of a lot. Okay? This is not just, you all heard me bitch about the $500. That $500 ain't fucking shit, that deductible, but it tells me something. If they can't give me that back, trust me, they can't afford to give me what I've actually lost. Okay? But, so I told Reba my story about my sister. Now, this is probably one of, quite honestly, my most cherished pieces of anything she ever sent me. And she sent it directly to me. And this is a script from her TV show. Now, okay, and it says, to Chuck, thank you for being such a loyal fan over the years. Love you, Reba. But that isn't even the best part of it. I want you to look, and I'll try to get in as close as possible. But the episode name, I can't even see. I don't have my glasses on. I'll pull it down so I can put it in right. So hopefully I can get it. Okay, so the episode name. This was a script. This was well after her TV show ended that I got this. So this was something that she actually kept aside. And if she's going to part with this, it's got to go to someone very, 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 not just, and it's got to go to somebody special, and you'll see why. So this is it. Now, up underneath where she signed Reba, which she double signed it, okay? It's double signed. But look at up at the top, it says Reba in the dark black print. Up under that is where she wrote, when they gave her the script, she puts her name on it. And But under that is the episode name, and that's what I want you to pay attention to, because it literally says something very special. And the fact that I got this exact script was kind of mind-blowing. Anybody who knows Reba knows anything she does is meticulously thought out. She does everything for a reason. So I'm going to try to get it. But up underneath there, you see the dark. I hope you can see it. Then's her name. The name of the episode is Reba's Heart. Reba's Heart. You get something like that? She's basically telling you that I'm her heart. I'm the reason why she does what she does. You know, all that stuff. The fact that this is the one I got, that's mind-blowing. I mean, and this was picked out specifically and signed. And usually just, you get something signed by Reba, it just has her name script. This actually was done for me. These are pieces that cannot be replaced. And I have a picture of her and Dolly together that both of them signed, you know. And these are things that you don't just end up with, okay? So when I say this is not just any collection, you know, this is something I couldn't share with people. But I knew what it was, but even Bolivia, I couldn't share it with her. Tell her what this means to me and why this is so valuable to me. And it's even more valuable than anybody knew. Because that's not something you can put out there. My insurance company only would insure it if I didn't say what it was. But technically, it null and voids my insurance even. I can't collect on this. I can't. They ruined it. It's literally ruined. So it's not even, even my insurance, I'll get $250,000. And that's it. And this is worth so much more than that. But you know what? I'm not filing it against my insurance. Because you know what? You know what caused this? Their neglect. Okay? And they're responsible when their neglect causes damages to me. So, I'm getting my money. You can bet on that, because this isn't just any collection. This is all certificates of authenticity, everything else. It's not just any fucking collection, okay? And some of you know the contest and everything I've entered, and the prizes I have won, and stuff like that. These weren't just any prize. These were things that were done specifically for one person, the winner of a contest that busted their ass. And every contest I ever did promoting a Reba album, I have won. I have won every single one of them. And I put my heart, my soul, everything into it because of what this woman has done for me. So these are pieces that I can never replace. And they fucking destroyed it all. So that's what it is. That's why I'm upset. Because, I have my Waterford collection, all that. I have pieces that are unreal. You know, the very first, run of something that's marked Waterford of Ireland and all that stuff. Those are pieces that are worth substantially more money. But it doesn't even come close. And I have a lot of Waterford in this house, a lot of expensive Waterford in this house. But as far as my most treasured, nobody's allowed to touch it. Why my house is always pristine and all that stuff is because this collection was worth. I would never sell a single piece of it. I have given Bolivia some pieces of it, you know, things that like the cap from the Cap and Gown when she did, you know, Is There Life Out There? I caught it. I caught Rebas, not the dancers, Rebas. And I gave it to Bolivia because, I mean, this whole collection was supposed to go to her when I die. Because, I mean, Bolivia has been my best friend. And I wanted her to have something special. This is much more than even she ever knew it was. And, you know, but as beautiful as everything is and the way I've kept things, and, you know, this is like my whole life of collecting. And it's all because she saved my life. But just her and how she looks like my sister. And so I literally, and every time I'm going through something, you know, there's a song, you know, that Reba does. Like my sister ended up in the hospital, was having heart problems. And that same week, Reba had a song that she released, and the name of that song was My Sister, My Friend. And because my sister was in the hospital, I was worried about it. This is like, you know, talking about like the love and the connection to a sibling that, you know, and so, I mean, things like that. And like when I tested positive for HIV, okay, and there's no shame in my game. I've always been honest about this kind of stuff. But like within a month, I had already had my tickets for the show, and she came, and the same week she was in the city that I was living in doing the concert, she had released the song as a single to radio. She thinks his name is John. And it's about a woman who has a one-night fling and contracts AIDS and dies. But I contracted HIV. I was always very safe. Everything else, it was several different things that happened. If you would have taken out one thing out of that line of things that happened that night, I would never have been HIV. Okay? It was a freak snowstorm. There was a tree overweighted by snow above the roof. Just all kinds of things, okay? And everything just lined up for the perfect storm. And I ended up with HIV. And that was in 1994. And here we are, 30 years later? And I'm still, like, other than the fucking COPD, I mean, I'm undetectable, you know, all that stuff, have been for years. I take my meds every day, all that stuff. And I've been alive for, you know, with HIV for over 30 years. Okay, well, almost 30. Well, yeah, over 30 years. So, you know, but that adds even more to the story because every time I'm going through something, and as you know, recently, about a month or two ago, I had somebody here and they stole some stuff from me, like my limited edition Jordan breast cancer survivor high tops, hot pink, my favorite shoes that I wore one time a year in pristine condition, came up missing and stuff like that. And I literally had to put this person out of my life. And as I was like, you know, keep building up the nerve to just tell them, you know, you're not welcome here anymore, Reba came out with her latest single. And if you haven't heard it, I'm sure most of you have seen it posted to my, you know, the front of my fucking wall. a couple times, several different versions. The video, I think the words, the remixed version. I mean, trust me, I own it all. But the song is called "I Can't," and it's talking, and it says in there, there's the thunder in her bones. She's tried to cry so many tears. Pushed down so many tears, couldn't cry them out. That, her heart's half full of rain and rising high, but it says, but the main line in it is, let go the anchor, let go the chain, don't reach for me, don't call my name. Then it says, shake off the past, swim for the shore, blow me a kiss. But it says a whole lot of things, but it says, wish what you will, take what you get, and stuff like that. I can't save you no more. And right at the time I'm putting somebody out of my life for doing me wrong, stealing from me, and I'm trying to build up the courage, and boom, all of a sudden, here comes a song that gets, and it's always been like that for me with Reba and Reba's music. So, I mean, there is a connection there. I'm a very spiritual person. The fact that I was going to kill myself, and this song just comes in to play and changed the way I was thinking, the way I was feeling, all that at the time. And then the person looks like my sister, exactly like my sister. That's mind-blowing in itself. But every time I'm going through like a very difficult time in my life, there's a song by Reba that gives me the strength to do what I need to do and move on. And that's why one of her last albums on the track list, it wasn't released as a single, and not a lot of people know about it. Well, most of you probably do, because I post about it all the time. It's literally my favorite song by her. It wasn't a single that was released. It was on an album. But the song is called Livin' Ain't Killed Me Yet. And that is my favorite song by her. And when I'm facing things that, I just think, I wish it was over and all that stuff, I play the song. And it literally pulls me out of the negativity, all that stuff. I've been through a lot, and life put you back against the wall, kick you in the I mean, just the words in it, but all this, I've had my back against the wall, feet through the fire, all that shit, but living ain't killed me yet, and here I am. But, I mean, this is a pretty devastating blow to me, that this collection, and how my house is usually, all that, everything's always pristine. There's not a crooked picture. I have taken such good care of this stuff, and pretty much, I mean, when I say to people, yeah, I may live on disability and I may live in HUD housing, but you know what? I'm a rich person. I always felt like I was a rich person because, quite frankly, I was. Just in the memories and the things that I've done, and just, and all that, and that this woman knows who I am, and, she actually sends me things, and, usually when I post on stuff, she'll, on her pages and stuff like that, I get private messages, and, I mean, I've gotten texts from her on my phone, I mean, this isn't just, I mean, there is like a true, I mean, this woman is actually a part of, well, she is my life. I mean, she saved it. And as long as she's putting out music, she's putting out, putting together TV shows, I'm in it. I'm all in. Cash in hand, all that stuff. And I always have been. And because the amount of money I spend on her stuff isn't a drop in the bucket to what she probably makes, but as long as she's putting it out there, I get my little piece of the pie and she's getting my money, because this woman saved my life and she is worth everything in the world to me. And so that's why this is, I just felt, because a lot of people are like, why are you taking this so hard? But this really is devastating to me, because people didn't know what it was. And this is not just any collection. Most of it is one of a kind, the first print, the first produced things. And I have letters of authenticity on every single piece of it to prove it. This is not just any collection. And most of the people, because I belong to every, fan page, or, well, used to belong, not so much anymore, because I just don't have that kind of time and energy to put into it. But I've always, my whole life, and I have the emails to prove it, I've been in touch with every single record label she's been on. I've been in touch with, like, the top executives of those. And, I got a lot of information that most people wouldn't be able to get about Reba, because I am that well known in the Reba. Well, quite frankly, I'm almost as famous as she is, okay, because I did drag and did her and all that stuff. So, I mean, like, a lot of people know who I am at one point, before, I mean, I've been offered to, perform on stage with her, just like Cody Collins. And I worked an evening at La Cage, just like Cody Collins. Not the same one. Cody Collins has always been a good friend of mine. And so if she was offered something and she couldn't do it, then it would get offered to me, and vice versa, okay? So, like, me and Cody were always kind of in that kind of realm together. But, I mean, Cody's been to my home. Cody's spent, a lot of time here with me. I've traveled to see her do shows. I try, when I do go see her do a show, I never go in drag, because I'm not trying to distract from her, because, I mean, anybody who does Reba, I don't say anything bad. I mean, I know I do a good Reba. Cody does a good Reba. Bolivia does a good Reba. All different, for different reasons. But I could never tell you who's the best, because we all, like, nail our versions of her, So, I mean, like, I wish I could have Bolivia's smile. So dead on Reba. The one thing that has always been, like, my nemesis, when it was, because trying to draw that fucking little bird lip that curls up like the Joker. Yeah, trust me, I killed myself trying to get that, and Bolivia has it. I'm like, that's the one part, and Bolivia knows it. I tell her that all the time. If I could have had my upper and her mouth, I'd have been perfect, But that's, anybody who's doing Reba has that one piece about them that, it's the one thing that destroys the illusion. But also, because I'm a good entertainer, you have to be able to, what gets illusions over the top is you have 10 seconds to grab them and pull them in. So, I mean, I could curl my lip in and smile just the right way, and paint it up, and I would have that same look without showing teeth, but the mouth would do that same curl up and the real thin top lip, and so it looked like Reba. And I would do that walking to the front of the stage, which I did nice and slow. My gestures, the way I use my hands, all that was always dead on the way Reba does, and like the head thing, where how she tilts her head, that has always been like dead on, which is why my illusion was so good, and plus I custom made all my wigs and curled them, all that stuff myself. They were exact copies of her hair. So, yeah, that's what sold my illusions, and great costuming, which most of I made. So, but, and Cody was the lucky one that got to travel with her, and, if she wouldn't have done it, it probably would have been offered to me next, or, because that's just how that kind of stuff worked with, with like anything, anytime Reba was doing something like that, and they were thinking about using, and having some kind of, mind-blowing thing, like when Cody was up on the thing, and I knew it instantly, not because Cody had to keep all that very under wraps, all that shit. So this wasn't something. But I was sitting there in front row, and the first time, I seen that show 6 times from front row, by the way. And so the fancy thing starts, and the spotlight spins, and then goes up, and then kind of, lights her from above. And the minute, but they lit Reba like that, and I looked up, and I was like, that's not Reba. And the girl who was sitting next to me, she was like, yes, it is. I said, no, it's not. I said, trust me, I know Reba. I said, that's not Reba. And this is like, literally, like probably 1,000 feet away from me. And she's way up on this, high platform. And I was like, that's not Reba. The second, and the girl like wanted to argue with me. And then all of a sudden, Cody comes down the steps and takes the hat off and picks her hair, fluffs her hair, and takes the hat and flings it down the runway where the plane took off, and all these fireworks go off, and then this big thing that Reba was standing on that circles around, that thing Cher uses, or like Shania Twain used it at the Super Bowl, that spun around and she's way up in the air. Well, Reba pops out of the other end of the stage on that. And the girl was like, I can't believe you could tell that wasn't. I was like, trust me, honey, I know Reba. And then, so I had talked to, and this was before I even knew, who was up there, but I wrote to Cody, and I said, I just went to go see Reba last night. I don't know who this was, because, it was too far away, and plus they were drowned in light. I said, I don't know who it was, but it was kind of mine. She goes, girl, that was me. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But, and, like, I have itineraries, like when Reba traveled and stuff like that. I have itineraries of where she was going to be, where she stayed, where she was going to dinner. I have things like that nobody else has. And, so like I said, this is more than just a collection to me. So I just wanted to put that out there because a few people have been like, girl, why are you taking this so hard? And I was like, but most people don't know, because it's not something I just share. Like, my family, like, most of my family know, but, like, the Reba thing, and how Reba looks just like my sister, and stuff like that. For years, I didn't talk about it. And you know, and like my family was like, why are you so obsessed? And I was like, but they know what Reba looks like. They also know what my sister looks like. You can't see it, you know? So I wasn't, to me, it was a personal thing, and I kind of didn't talk about it because, I mean, one, it makes me tear up, happy tears. Trust me. It's not because I'm upset or sad or anything. It's just so mind-blowing and touches me so deeply on a spiritual level. Like I said, I'm not religious. I am spiritual because somebody was fucking Mary. Okay, just saying. But but I mean, the thing is I'm a spiritual person, and that has to do with energy and stuff like that, and the fact that, you know, my sister, she died, but the energy doesn't die, and then all of a sudden, you know, the energy goes back into the collective of energy, because that energy never dies. It's always part of the whole, and the fact that it spins around and brings Reba into my life, I mean, that says something. I mean, literally, at the moment, I needed it to happen the most. And that's why I'm a spiritual person, because I have had many of those type of things happen to me in my life. And this was the first time I really took notice of it. And it had been happening to me since I was a kid. But this was the first time it blew my mind. And it really did change the person I am. And that's why this is has always been the most important thing in my life. So I just wanted to share that. This is not me being some, you know, overdramatic queen. This was literally started for a reason and has been kept up, and and why it had to be the best. Because when I bought my sister clothes or whatever, everything I gave her, or, you know, spent on, everything had to be the best. Any outfit I picked out, and I mean, I bought her a lot of things. So when I started collecting this stuff, I had to have the best pieces. And those come with big, pretty price tags. And I had to save for a lot of it. And that's why this is so devastating to me. Because I would never, I mean, I can keep it. You know, I'm not going to be able to display it if I move, you know, and stuff like that. It's going to have to go in box and be kept outside of my living quarters but yes, I can keep it, but I'm not going to be able to display it unless I guess, you know, maybe, laminate the whole fucking wall and put everything behind it. I mean, yeah, I could do that, but, really, I shouldn't have to, but, I mean, so I can keep this all as a memory, because there was never any way I was selling any of it anyway. So, I mean, so it does have a value to me, but only to me, because it has now been introduced to mold and spores, and which renders it literally, it might as well caught on fire and you have smoke damage on everything. None of this had, because I don't, you know, I put everything behind glass. I don't smoke, you know, anywhere near it. You know, I go outside usually, you know, or I sit in my kitchen under the fucking fan, turn that on, so all the smoke goes right. This stuff doesn't get fucked, you know, like the dolls behind, you know, glass, and pictures are all behind glass, and, you know, most of everything in the cabinet that's worth anything is all behind glass. But you do open that, and being how it's been 4 years, you know, there's been times I pulled everything out. So, yeah, it's been affected by mold spores. And there's, you know, and there's just really nothing I could do about it. Because they left me sitting here for 9 days. And, I mean, you can go back and look at all the pictures where a beige carpet was totally black with mushrooms growing out of it, and then it was another 6 months before they even touched the bathroom. So, I mean, by then, by the time they even came to look at what happened in here, there was already mold growing between the walls and all that. And so, but that stuff can come out and literally affect everything. So everything I worked for all my life is literally garbage. As beautiful as this place was. And that's devastating to me because, like most of you know, all this was done one piece at a time. And it was meticulously picked out and stuff like that because I mean, yeah, I save money and stuff like that, but because it was the right piece at the right time, and I didn't care what it cost and all that. And that's why this collection was worth so much. And yeah, it's devastating because literally it still has a great deal of sentimental value to me because it was never going to be sold in the first place. But, you know, I bought it like Bolivia. I mean, because it was all going to be left to her. If she wanted to turn around and sell it, collect the $1 million, that's up to her. I was giving it to her. And, you know, she doesn't have to worship it the way I did, you know, but because Bolivia is my best friend and I love her with all my heart. And yeah, we've had some, you know, our ups and our downs where we kind of got on each other's nerves. And, but that's any relationship. But but Bolivia has always been that one person in this town that I will do anything for. I love her more than I love my own life. Well, I mean, I love her as much as I love myself, and I do love myself. And, I mean, anytime Bolivia, if she ever calls me, I'm there for her, but she's always been that for me, too. So, you know, I just wish I could have given her the $1 million collection well, it was $1 million 10 years ago. It was value appraised for that. So, I mean, it would have been worth even more than that now. And I would have loved to have been able to give her something that was worth that much money, that literally, if she was ever in a pickle or a bind, she could sit there and sell it off, because it does have letters of authenticity on all this. So it's worth money. And, well, was worth money, and she was getting it all, but now, who would want it? If it's going to, you know, introduce mold into your house, and that will ruin everything else that you've worked your life for. And so, yeah, it's not worth anything. So when I die, it's probably all going to go in the garbage. And that's sad, because it shouldn't have had to. But, alright, well, I just wanted to let you people know where I'm at and why this was so devastating, because I had been asked a couple times, and I was like, I really was thinking, do I really want to go into this? Because, I mean, does anybody even really care? Probably not, and I'll maybe get one or two people watching the video, but that's why it was devastating to me. So anybody who does watch the video, you know, please leave a comment and let me know that you watched it and you understand why this was so important. And, you know, because that would kind of like do me emotionally, mentally, in my heart, it would do me some good right now to know that, you know, somebody understands. And so, yeah, leave me a comment if you watched this, if you watched it all the way through, you know, give me a little tear and then a happy face and a thumbs up for I understand, and at the end, and so that way I know you watch the video and you understand where I'm coming from. Love y'all. Good night.